late Titicaca and the High Andes. But why we call the mother culture? Because around 1500, very soon after its rising, they started with a big rebellion of the population, and they decided to call themselves the Tiwanaku civilization, which is the very first big empire in South America. Tiwanaku is ruling a big territory in South America by almost 2,000 years. Later on, the Incas start 1,200 and they finish 1530s. Just 300 years of the Inca domination in South America, but 700 is a very special date in the history of Tiwanaku, because 700 is the peak. 700 be at 80, Tiwanaku is ruling exactly the same territory that 600 years later will be ruled by this Inca king. This is the one that finished the domination of the late Titicaca and the surroundings, but Tiwanaku did already this 600 years before. So, by 700 after Christ, Tiwanaku was ruling Peru, Bolivia, north side of Chile, and north side of Argentina was a big empire in South America. But later on, this king is controlling exactly the same thing. So, as I told you, Tiwanaku finished because very terrible dry seasons, earthquakes, and 1150 is the very end. That's the end, because like in the beginning, they rise against the mother culture. Some Tiwanaku people around the High Andes, they rise against the Tiwanaku king in the same way. Today, we know the name of the last Tiwanaku king. His name, Capaca Manco, was the very last Tiwanaku king, and he was having big rebellions of other population because he was not able to fix these natural problems. And all the people got upset about the governors and priests and priestesses were not able to fix these terrible natural disasters. And very soon we start big battles, mainly around Lake Titicaca. And this Tiwanaku king, he decides to escape because he found that he was in danger living in the Lake Titicaca. But it was not just a matter of let's escape. He wanted to come to this sanctuary by a very last time. He wanted to honor the gods, the goddess. He wanted to do the sacrifices. He wanted to honor some virgin girls to the gods by a very last time. After that, he is escaping. Yesterday we were talking about the mythology, about the Incas, but now we are talking about real history that happened. The last Tiwanaku king, in order to save his own life, he comes here to ask maybe good luck to the gods, and later on he is looking for another place far away from the battlefield. But you know, this is where the Tiwanaku and the Inca civilization, we get a connection between these two ones. Because Tiwanaku needs to finish in order to start with the Incas. If Tiwanaku could never finish, we could never have the Inca civilization. How come? You remember, now I need your attention. The last Tiwanaku king name, Capaca Manco. But the first Inca king is Manco Capac. It's very possible that the last Tiwanaku king is the very first Inca king that found a very good place to live in Cusco, and they developed there by 300 years. They were controlling north side of Cusco, east side and west side. But this king, 1450 after Christ, that means 300 years later of the exodus of Tiwanaku to safer places, he says, we need to come back to the land of our ancestors. We need to recover that territory that our ancestors were controlling some hundreds of years ago. It's time. We are strong enough to control, to domain all that territory that actually belongs to us, he says. That is the reason he comes to the island, even though it was very difficult to him to reach the sanctuary, because people were fighting here. Several